Brendan, you came back to the club 7 weeks ago. In that time, you've hit the ground running, taken the team to matches in 4 different countries, started the campaign with a solid 3 points in the opening game. How have you enjoyed the first 7 weeks, starting, of course, with those first days? Were you back in your old office? I'm sure it quickly felt like you'd never been away.
Yeah, it's felt great, Gerry, to be honest. Like you say, it's been a really busy pre-season, lots of travel, a lot of work that we've been putting into the players. And obviously the chance to take the club to countries that they haven't been. So overall it's been really, really enjoyable, but it was so nice at the weekend just to get that first competitive game in at Celtic Park in particular, and of course it was a good result to start the campaign.
Coming into the club, of course, the majority of players who you hadn't worked with before. How did you go about building those manager-player relationships that are so important? Could you maybe give us a little insight? Because I think our supporters would be really interested into the strategy you have in terms of leadership and personal level, but also in the collective.
Well, I think firstly, I've always said about working with players, I believe life is about relationships. So building that, so whether that's personal or whether that's professional. So for me, I always want to take the time to try and build that relationship, just to try and understand what the players' motives are, what their ambitions are, because then from that's the start point. That's where the development begins. That's where the individual, because even though the guys are in a team sport and it is very much a team, individually they all want to improve and they want to be better. So you get that through that conversation, that understanding, and also for them to understand that it's their responsibility. We will create an environment here for them to develop and improve, but to also understand that it's not all on the coaches. You know, it's the environment here will be set up to develop you as an individual and as a team, but then you have to take that responsibility to do that. So it's very much in terms of that open conversation with them and getting to know them and what their drivers are. I also think within the team element, we've done some workshops whilst we've been away, just to understand again each other, understand what the strengths of this squad are, where the improvements can be made, what are the challenges going to be. So all that type of work goes into understanding what their thoughts are as individual players and as people.
It's all the work that goes on behind the scenes that the fans don't see. And I suppose if you look at last season, when you're looking at this team, just like the fans are, you come into it perhaps with your own preconceived notions of how these individuals are, who they are. But as you say, it's only when you sit down with them that you get to know them as people. Did you learn things about the players that maybe took you by surprise?
Yeah, no, I think for me, as I said, coming in, being able to watch the games that have been live on telly, I was able to watch them from afar, so that was been great. But it's not until you come in and you work with people day to day and you understand it. And you know, the point I made to the players is that this is a new cycle for you. It's not a continuation. It's a new cycle, a new manager. A lot of the principles will be the same, but there will be changes within that. So whatever you've done in the past, it doesn't really matter. I respect that, of course, but if we're to continue being successful, it's really about proving the point from now. And so I then look at the energy of players, I look at the attitude of players, as well as that technical and tactical quality, and that's something that has been great over the course of this first 7 weeks.
So taking the players that you've got, you talk about this, you know, the group dynamic as well, it's so important. Do you feel that you've got a group of players here who have that sense of camaraderie, that spirit to work with each other, but also for each other?
Yeah, and that's something that you always have to work on. It's not something that, you know, you can just let be. You know, you always have to continually reinvent the culture of your group so that you have even more spirit, even more togetherness, even more cohesion. It's not something that just magically happens, something you have to work on a day-to-day basis, and then the magic begins, and then it grows, and then you have that real strong togetherness.
Of course, that camaraderie, you want it there because it's all about winning football matches, and of course, you know, the first one competitively at the weekend, 4 goals of course, in that game. A lot of positives to take out it. Did you see plenty there to show that the work that you've done pre-season is bearing fruit?
Yeah, we took the players through it this morning. I think the late goal probably dampened a little bit of the spirit late on in the game. Certainly for the players' perspective, I think we know that we give away sort of 2 per goals from our perspective. But that will come. That work will come through time, and players getting up to fitness, new players coming in, recognising the intensity of it all, as well as little tactical tweaks in the structure that will help them. So that will come. Been really pleased with the attacking intent of the team. I think that we created a lot of chances at the weekend. Was really pleased with how quickly at times we got up to the attacking line. It was 2 different types of game within it, because at times Ross County were sat off, man-to-man marking, so you have to create the space in order to play. And then there was other times where they came full man-to-man pressure, and we were able to play through that, and we nearly got in a couple of times. So that was really pleasing, seeing the players cope with both elements of the game when they were under pressure and when they had time to breathe in the game. But like I said, all of these concepts we work on, and they will get better at, and that's what I'd expect to see.
Yeah, preparation, of course, is everything for you and your backroom staff. Aberdeen next away, Barry Robson, former Celtic, the manager there. Always a tough place to go, but you've got some great memories playing against Aberdeen first time around. You must be looking forward to going back there.
Yeah, very much so. And I don't think it changes when you play Aberdeen. Certainly when I was up here the first time, they were, if not the most competitive team that we had. We played them in finals, and they were excellent, and Derek had them super organised and really competitive and did well. And I'll expect the same with Barry's team. So you never go up there thinking it's an easy game. You know you're going to have to earn the right to play. We'll watch them closely over the course of this week. I think the system and how they're playing pretty direct in their style. So you have to win your duels. You've got to be really competitive from a defensive perspective, and then look for your quality then to come through.